Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. I am back in the studio this week. It is a crew show.
I liked it better when I did it.
Well, you know what? I guess I'll just shut up.
Hi, guys.
Oh God! Thanks for the warm welcome. It's great to be back.
And we will get to where Nick... Actually, no, let's just open up with that. Nick was on a trip out to Whistler checking out N vehicle. Tell us about the vehicle.
I like how we just off mic, we just
we had a plan.
We had a plan.
Let's just not do that.
That's right. Anarchy.
This is what happens when I record the video too. I was like, okay, I got an idea what I'm going to say. Instantly off the tracks.
I think Nathan got a taste of the power when you were gone, and he's like, I'm just going to steamroll this plan.
God, what power! Okay. All right. So this week, we're chatting about what I was up to last week. I was out in BC sampling the all-new 2025 Infiniti QX80. Imran's back in studio.
He's had a few cool cars.
He has had a few cool cars. He recently spent some time with the BMW i5 xDrive 40. That is a mouthful name. And the Mercedes-AMG GT coupe. That seemed really cool. And we also have a Lincoln Nautilus and a Jeep Cherokee, which none of us are in love with. But let's get to the QX80, which you were pretty warm about. They're particularly warming. Okay, the QX80. So let me start with this. How long do you think the last gen QX56/QX80 was on the market for?
17 years.
I was
warm. Surprisingly warm.
13.
14 years.
14
the
years.
Last gen QX80, QX56.
God, I love
went
that.
through
I love the Nissan Armada I had. That was fucking awesome. Just a huge old battle tank.
2006.
The 2006 Armada. No. Okay, so this is the first thoroughly new QX80 in a long time.
Huh?
And yet it follows a very familiar formula. It is big.
Oh boy.
And that's it. It's fucking huge.
Okay, hang on. So let's do a little Q&A thing.
All right.
Is it a new platform?
They didn't say it's thoroughly it's
not
I'm
a new
pretty
platform.
sure it's a very thorough refresh, which they're calling all new.
So they did the Z thing.
They kind of did.
Oh.
Okay, which is fine.
It is.
Because the old one was an excellent battle tank.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what was I going to say? So, updated platform, still body on frame then.
Still body and frame.
Okay, there's a new engine in there, right?
New engine.
What's that? Is that like a brand new, or is it just the VQ with some turbos on it out of the Z?
So it's the VR. I don't even know all the letters and numbers. It's basically the twin turbo VR V6 that's used in the QX50, QX60, the new Z, and Nissan likes to tout that it's somewhat related to the one in the GTR, but very, very different tool for the job. Mm-hmm. So 450 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, both very big increases over the V6. I'm usually very sad whenever
V6?
Sorry,
the
V8.
V8.
The V8.
The V8 motor?
The old one.
The
Yeah,
5.6, right?
big ass old V8 motor. I love that V8 motor.
Did you say 516 pound-feet of torque?
516 pound-feet of torque.
Hell yeah, brother.
Healthy.
This thing, for as big and fucking heavy as it is, it moves.
And
500 foot-pounds will do that.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's not the number I was expecting.
Whenever a car company pulls the rug out from under a normally aspirated V8, I'm usually sad, but I'm not sad here. It's actually a pretty good engine.
Yeah, and refinement-wise, for obviously this is not a boy racer car. It feels pretty good?
It feels good. Very quiet, builds power very smoothly. Doesn't really sound that good.
That's kind of a problem, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for a vehicle like that, though, doesn't matter.
Not really. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't sound particularly pleasant when you floor it. But,
Okay, so
it goes.
So like the Lexus GX550.
Yeah.
That we just put out a video on, which you should go check out. had a 3.4 liter twin turbo 6 out of the Tundra.
Yes.
And that did a very good job pretending to be a V8.
Yes.
Does this pretend to be a
This
V8?
does not pretend to be a V8.
Right.
It sounds a little thrashy when you bring it out. But to be fair, you don't really have to ring it out because of all that torque available, like, much lower than before. Peak torque comes on about, I want to say around...
Like 15, $2,000?
Just over $2,000 RPM.
Over 2,000? Embarrassing.
I mean, peak
In
torque.
this economy? Should be 15.
Right off idle.
I'm actually curious to check it out, though, because I really like the last one.
Yeah.
And I think they did a good job of refreshing the looks.
Oh, yeah. It looks...
Yeah.
It's very faithful to what it was, what it was, whatever. It's instantly recognizable as, what it's supposed to be, but it does look thoroughly, like, it looks modern.
It does look modern.
The old one looked a lot like a beluga whale, I found. This new one actually looks... kind of looks
like a beluga whale in a suit.
Fancy. A
Very
tailored,
crisp shoulder pads.
A tailored suit. It's kind of like a... I would probably say it's like a big boy rangy with an Infiniti front end in terms of the looks.
Yeah, which is something they've been doing pretty well. The QX60 has like a lot of rangy vibes to it too.
It does. I kind of like the floating roof. How it has the hidden blacked out.
Pillars,
the blacked out pillars
Didn't Nissan start that?
all around.
Did they?
I mean,
I feel like the Maxima was kind of the first
Maxima,
one to do that with the floating pillars.
Yeah, one of the weird generations of the Maxima did that,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it was the last gen. Current gen? Last gen? I don't know.
One thing,
if this will make it.
Obviously the previous gen, being as old as it was, definitely needed a tech makeover.
Oh, yeah. This one does get the tech makeover. So, it has twin 14-point-something inch screens spanning across the dashboard. I want to say 14.3 inch screens, but again, numbers could be wrong.
My phone just told me to be more productive. Just ran a notification. Be more productive. The fuck?
Well, you
working right now.
We are being productive.
Dick.
I know, right?
Anyway, so two big-ass screens.
Big-ass screens spanning across the dashboard. Everyone's doing that, but I feel like Infiniti pulls it off better than most. It's much better integrated than everyone else's. It uses the space quite well. It works with a 9-inch display lower in the center stack.
So there's three. So it is kind of like the Range Rover thing.
It still has that sort of dual screen setup like the old Infinitis.
Technically, but it's appreciably different.
Okay, because that was terrible. Whatever that first gen, second gen, whatever it was, that was bad.
No, this is not it. This looks much more crisp, much more modern. Graphics are new. It's more responsive. I normally hate climate controls that are hidden behind a touchscreen.
Right.
But I feel like the haptic feedback on the Infiniti screen goes a long way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks nice. I'm looking at your photos from the event. It looks really nice.
Do we have pricing for it?
Starts at, I want to say like 104.
Okay.
For the base. The ones we drove were the Autograph. Those were just under 125 as tested.
Not cheap.
It's not.
It is. There's no reason why it should be, right? Because it's not a Nissan. It's Infiniti. It's positioned as a luxury product. So it would stand to reason that it would be in the same vein as like a Lincoln Navigator and a Cadillac Escalade.
Yeah, it's about in line with the competition. Like,
yeah.
Everything in that range, well equipped with the big, with a big motor. It's about.
Yeah, they're all 120-ish.
120, 130-ish. So it's par for the course.
Would you take it over either of those?
That's the problem, buddy.
And that's the thing. Like Infiniti,
Yeah.
It always feels like they're kind of standing in the back of the crowd.
Kind of. This new one puts it a little more up front. I'd probably take it over a Lexus LX 600.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
That tracks.
I'd probably take one over the Jeep Wagoneer too. Maybe not over an X7. maybe not.
Nothing over an X7.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good praise though.
Yeah. It used to be like in my opinion, bottom of the segment. It's now probably firmly mid-pack.
Okay, and I feel like where Infinity's at these days, mid-pack is a solid win.
It's better than where they were before.
Yeah.
I feel like if this is an indication of like what's to come, like, you know, they've actually sweated the details, that they've put effort into, you know, newer tech, better integration, better materials, and the interior is actually very roomy. I feel like it's a good start.
So do you see any of Infinity's / Nissan's we don't have any money cost cutting? Or is it a pretty well put together package?
Not really.
Nice.
I mean, like, I if there is cost cutting, it's probably hidden deep down, kind of like the new Z, in that it uses a heavily revised version of an older platform.
Right.
It uses, you know, an engine that's also utilized elsewhere in the lineup. So there's probably cost cutting, but like at the same time, that probably means there's more money to spend on, you know, cooler tech, better materials.
Does it still drive like a bus? The last one I had drove like a bus, like slow, ponderous steering, which I kind of like. The thing's a tank, feel like a tank.
Well, that's
I
the
like
thing.
that. Yeah.
It's not quite a bus, but it's a tank.
Okay.
Like it deletes bumps, it deletes potholes, it deletes like rough gravel road. It's still kind of it's a little choppy over rough pavement, like a gravel roads and stuff. But it's largely a tank, and it's pretty good on gas too. Like for something that big, you know.
What were you seeing?
Through the, you know, we put on about 250-ish kilometers by the time we got to the airport. Mm-hmm. And like over, you know, averaging 80, 90 over various, you know, hills and altitude changes because we did the sea to sky highway. Averaged about 12.8 liters per 100K, which is
That's not bad.
much better than the old one.
For something that
For
weighs,
something
like
fucking
6,000
huge,
pounds?
yeah. For a massive brick, that's really good. A couple of cool things with the tech. I really like the fact that, you know, we see a lot of this like widescreen. We see a lot of these widescreens used in the luxury segment, and you know, certain cars more than others, they could have used the screens to, you know, better utilize the camera feeds and whatnot.
Right.
What the QX60 does is it lets you, so for the front views, it basically lets you display that camera feed across the entire screen.
Okay.
Which is very useful considering how massive this thing is. And if you're squeezing into like, you know, like a parking garage or something,
Right.
it's very useful.
Okay, that's nice to hear. I remember when I had the QX55, and it was really disappointing that I think Infiniti was one of the first company to have like the bird's eye view camera system.
Yes.
And it was atrocious in the QX55. It
Yeah.
looked like it was still that first gen.
Yeah, it's not atrocious here.
So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, like the feeds are properly, you know, it's high res, it's sharp, they look good, they work well, it's very well integrated. It's pretty surprising, really. I came into this thinking that okay, it's probably just going to be a thoroughly warmed over version of the old truck. Maybe, you know, maybe the new engine helps somewhat. But, you know, it actually feels pretty well rounded.
Cool.
Like
not class leading by any means, but firmly mid-pack now.
But I mean, it sounds like anyone who currently has a QX would happily upgrade to this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And there's a good amount of those on the road. Like a lot of people bought those and held on to them because they're reliable. They're big, comfy, reliable trucks.
And they didn't
work.
change.
Yeah, and they didn't change. There wasn't a ton of incentive to go get a new one. And like they do drive nice.
Yeah.
They do. There's a solidity. There's a solidity to it, and it just feels nice.
That's good to hear.
People like big cars. Big cars are nice.
They do.
That's right. And like you said earlier, with the sort of slow steering of the previous gen, you want a big car to feel like a tank.
Yeah. It's
like a
big
tank.
and feels big, like unabashedly huge.
Yeah, like you
In a
want it to
good
feel
way.
substantial, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying that this does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Speaking of big screens,
Yeah.
Is this the big? No, it's not the biggest. I think Mercedes still has the hyperscreen, which is a claimed 55 inches, I think. But yeah, I'm in a Lincoln.
But that is 3
Nautilus.
screens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, proceed.
regardless.
So I'm in a 25 Lincoln Nautilus Reserve this week. Actually, before I get to my thoughts, Nathan, you actually went to...
Yeah, so we already discussed this, and I think because you and I went out in Nick's Grand Cherokee, and we're talking about the Nautilus briefly, and you brought up the same complaints I had without any of my prompting, which leads me to believe that I was dead ass bang on the nose, and it validates my opinion a lot. Yeah,
That's very rare.
I love that my opinion matters. No, but
thank God it's not just me.
no, it's true.
Shouting into the void.
So this is full disclosure. This is only the second Lincoln that I'm driving. Right, the first one was a Corsair I drove last year, and now this. I was, and don't get me wrong, I've been in a lot of Lincolns, aka airport limos.
Yeah, but you were really impressed with the Corsair you had last time, and you weren't expecting to be.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be, this is, I'm going to be very stereotypical. This is old manish, and I'm not going to enjoy this. And
Yeah,
blah,
it's
blah,
just
blah,
a
blah.
leather Escape. Who cares?
Yeah, and when I got to driving it, it felt like it was purpose built as a comfortable luxury cruiser. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to pretend you're sporty.
Yep.
Had a very nice sound system, nice build materials.
Yeah, like a really well laid out interior, super easy to use.
Yeah, and the thing is, I give Ford/Lincoln a lot of credit, is their quote unquote badge engineering, their interiors, they do like they're markedly
They've come a long
very
fucking
different.
way.
They go a long, like the attention to detail that the Lincoln team puts into their vehicles is bonkers.
Yeah, like it's not just a badge engineering job, like
it was.
So so I was pleasantly surprised by the Corsair. So when I found out that I'm getting the Nautilus, which is one level up from the Corsair, I was actually excited. Right, I went from I'm not worried about this being an old man Lincoln. I think this is going to be a very pleasant, comfortable, enjoyable experience. And it's kind of not. And this is bothering me because everything that I loved about the Corsair is kind of absent in the Nautilus. And I mean that in the sense of, like, the build quality feels just a little off, where in the Corsair I didn't get that sense.
Yeah.
Even like I remember in the Corsair, I enjoy my music. That Revel audio system was, I remember I was like reveling about it.
Ha!
Go on, Dad.
And with this one, it also has the Revel audio system, but it feels somehow just slightly cheapened. Like it doesn't make me want to talk about it. Whereas the other one, I was like, this is fantastic. I remember sitting in the driveway listening to music.
Yeah.
The Revel audio is like some of the best you can buy. It's incredible.
Yeah, but somehow in the Nautilus, it's just like it's not the same.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, and I'd say most of the exterior I think looks great in the interior, and we'll get to that screen. But whereas the Corsair I felt like was very cohesive, the Nautilus has like a couple little weird things here and there. One of them being these weird like claw mark ambient lighting things on the doors. I don't know if you guys saw those.
Yeah, I didn't mind those.
So I just felt they seemed out of place a little bit. And again, I've now developed this.
You have an idea of what a Lincoln should look like. Yeah,
should be, and it just feels like that should maybe be in the Edge, but not the Nautilus.
I could see that.
it just literally reminds me of the Toronto Raptors logo with the 3
that tracks a lot.
dinos
Okay,
screens.
yeah.
And then even my wife, she was like looking it up after, and she's like, maybe they have those there because the color is called Blue Panther.
Okay.
I'm like,
Okay, Lincoln.
yeah,
I guess.
So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe there's some panther connotation there or something. I have no idea.
Panther claws, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah. So there's that. There's just some little weird quirks. I hate that it's a serious squircle, the steering wheel, and I know this sounds like a small complaint.
No, it's problem, buddy.
But and I was explaining this to.
I didn't hate it. It's weird. I grew to feel okay about it.
Yeah.
So the problem is, and this is what, and my wife was like, "What? Like, what's the big deal?" And I'm like, "It's okay in cars where it has a quick steering rack and you're not hand over handing it all over, right? But when you're in a Lincoln Nautilus
Yep.
that has not a quick steering rack,
Yep.
it feels really weird turning a square.
Yeah, to be like palming a square is weird. Like it doesn't translate.
It just does not make sense. So anyways, that bothers me more than it should. But let's talk about that 48-inch screen.
Right. So yeah, the Nautilus's whole claim to fame is that it is the most stank-ass huge screen you can buy right now, I think, so far as I'm aware. I think it's 2 separate displays.
It is.
Technically.
You
2
can
separate displays.
You can see the
you?
seam.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
well,
a
they
seam
do.
right dead in the middle, but they integrate it well. So it's a wraparound, almost teardrop shaped screen that goes all the way across the dash that incorporates the gauge cluster, infotainment readout, weather, traffic, whatever shit for the passenger. And it's semi-customizable. And then there's a small screen in the middle on the center console that kind of dictates everything.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, it used to just be one small, medium-ish, like 8-ish screen to kind of handle everything and physical controls and buttons to run the show.
Yeah.
It was all super easy to pick up and figure out. It was just like a nicely dressed up version of Ford Sync, and it worked really well. And I don't think this is a step forward. I think it looks okay, but I just find everything is super clunky, and the lack of controls and well thought out shortcuts, I found it just frustrating to use.
So I'll say that the concept of the screen itself, I actually don't mind. I actually found that the graphics that they've used, and it's kind of this curved screen that if you can picture this, that spans the entire dash from door to door.
Yeah, it does look like it presents well. It looks nice.
And it's like it's in like the proper field of view where it's not bothersome. The graphics are soft enough to where it's not like eye searing at night or anything like that. And I weirdly appreciate it, and I'm sure the airport limo passengers will appreciate the fact that I have like a 3-day weather forecast on the right hand side. And the
for the kids.
and the music I'm playing is always there, and the GPS is always there. Nothing is kind of a window's not opening on top of each other like in many other infotainment systems. So that is kind of nice. I haven't tinkered around with it too much. I know that they're set up as like widgets that you can adjust and stuff like that.
But there's
so
not
I didn't
a
play
ton.
around with that.
I think like possibly the middle and the far right one are like tweakable amongst like 3 or 4 widgets.
Interesting.
The center screen feels weirdly outdated in comparison. And I get why it needs to be there, but also a part of you is kind of like, why is it there? Because there's such a big screen.
Yeah.
But obviously, how else are you going to interface with it?
You need a screen to interact with your screen.
Exactly.
Like, hey, dog.
Exactly.
Why can't I
yeah,
have...
yeah. We heard you like screens.
So you put a screen in your screen so you can interact with your screen with a screen.
But yeah, overall, I think it's an interesting concept. Wasn't there like a car back in the day that had something like this that was, I'm not talking like screens, but it was like something that spanned like the whole way.
Or just the wraparound dash?
Yeah.
That was the Lincoln Mark 8. This is lifted, like visually lifted almost directly out of a Lincoln Mark 8, which takes a lot of cues from old Thunderbirds.
Okay. Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Like, I think like strictly visually,
Yeah.
not using it, looking at it, it looks fine. I think it presents pretty well. I think there's maybe a lot of wasted space, and you could have just condensed that information onto one display like everyone else does, but whatever.
Tell us how you really feel.
They're doing something different, and it's fine. The usability falls apart for me.
That's the thing. I mean, everyone wants some kind of claim to fame, and for the Nautilus, I guess this is it.
Yeah.
The ride quality is fine. The power is fine.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that ride quality, because I think that's actually my biggest complaint about this damn thing.
The handling part or the ride? Well, I guess it.
You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Say
I know what you're getting at. So
Say the line, Bard.
So it's as Lincolns are, it's very soft. But the Corsair was appropriately soft. The Nautilus is, I'll just say it triggered a little bit of my motion sickness. Mm-hmm. It was that soft to where it kind of wafts and wallows a little too much.
It doesn't stop moving. It feels like the rear shocks are completely blown out. It does not stop bobbing. It is constant, just slowly, all of the time. And if the road is even slightly uneven, it just magnifies it.
But it just like I'm not even trying to say this as I was going to say diss again, but I got made fun of for using diss in a couple of podcasts ago. But like that's the word that comes to mind.
Yo, who was dissing Imran?
But it feels like an airport limo.
That's probably not what Lincoln wants to hear.
That's a diss.
Yeah.
But like, hey, airport limos tend to be nice. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. And that's not what I want it to feel like. I want it to feel like the Corsair. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't feel like the Corsair.
Yeah. So I made a suggestion. Have you tried this on your own, like putting it in sport mode?
So I did for one of the drives, but not long enough to comment. But I know you were mentioning that, that it makes a big difference.
Yeah, so they all have adaptive suspension.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't remember if they do now.
I mean,
the two that we had on the two different trims that we had on the drive events both had adaptive suspension, and yours does because it's loaded. Mm-hmm. Throw it in sport mode, it firms up the rear instantly, rides perfectly.
Yeah.
That must have been my problem because I had it in sport mode the entire time we took it.
Oh, and you thought it was fine?
Yeah, and I thought it was fine. Yeah. I also feel like I'm kind of in the minority here because I actually kind of like the Nautilus.
Your opinion is wrong.
Clearly.
The core engineering behind it is solid. It drives well. I like the powertrain. With the suspension set up properly in sport mode, it actually rides and handles great.
And I kind of like the interior too. Like, yeah, the lower portions of the door panels feel cheap, especially for a luxury SUV of however
you could always count on Nick to just molest every single part of it and tell us which is cheap.
You know what? Yeah, I
these lower door cards
are
whack.
It's what auto journalists complain about, and that's what we're doing. We're complaining about hard touch plastics. It does feel a little scratchy.
Yeah, but we could just be better than them. Nope. All right, move on.
No, shut up.
Look, the thing I keep coming back to is the fact that, and I'm not even looking at competitors, because I don't think like Lincoln buyers cross shop much.
I wouldn't think so.
I think there's a lot of brand loyalty. I imagine among the target customers. Let's call it that.
So, but I do keep comparing it to its sibling. And like when you talk about putting it in sport, I think it's called expressive mode.
Yes.
Yeah, when you talk about putting it in expressive mode, in the Corsair, I distinctly remember playing around with the modes, and like whatever the normal mode is called was perfectly fine. Like I actually left it in that mode. And generally, as most of us do, we tend to hop into a car, put it in sport or expressive, and be done with it.
I don't.
No?
I'm weird like that.
No,
I don't go for that shit.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Nathan puts it in H.
Yeah.
Put it in H.
There you go.
But yeah, and it's just like,
different.
It's just, it's not a bad product. I just wish it was more like its sibling. That's really what it comes down to.
For what it's worth, I do agree. I love the Corsair the last time I had one. But yeah, it's to keep up with Nathan's hidden Simpsons references. It's a few prawns short of a galaxy.
Yeah, and that like what is it, 72,000 I think as spec for the reserve.
Yeah.
like you're still getting a 2-liter 4-cylinder in there.
What does it compete with? Like 70-ish grand, like a 2-row, like a Volvo XC60, BMW X3,
GV70.
Yeah.
That's a stacked field.
Yeah, X3 feels substantially smaller, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space in the Nautilus.
Yeah, I think to the Nautilus's credit, it is well suited to being an airport limo, and I think it's the biggest in its class.
Yeah, it is. It is very spacious. The rear is spacious. So X3 is like, different.
And I feel like at 70, you're still at a 4-cylinder with the X3.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's a more robust force.
Yeah. And like, I feel like the Nautilus is...
I like the 4-popper in the Nautilus.
I feel like the Nautilus's biggest problem is that the Genesis GV70 exists, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah, except, and I love the GV70. I think size is still an issue, right? Like if your primary
they're still kind of small.
Yeah, if your primary thing is space,
that's fair.
The Nautilus
that's fair.
wins. More trunk space. Definitely more rear seat space.
Yeah. They're unironically fantastic limousine.
that's the thing.
with the handy readouts for your passengers.
Yeah, and even if Lincoln doesn't want to admit it, they're good airport limos.
Yeah.
And
they're really good on gas, which matters if you're putting that kind of mileage on them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can you set the weather forecast to certain locations?
I'm sure you could.
There's got to be a way.
That's very handy, actually, for travelers. For travelers, yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. The GV70 is the first thing that came to my mind as well, from a value perspective. From there's definitely, like, even though it doesn't have that 48-inch screen, when you sit in there, there's a very premium feel to the GV70 that I think belies its price.
The big-ass volume knob in the Nautilus is very Genesis-like.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're, I don't see that cross-shopping happening with a GV70 and a Nautilus.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if Lincoln offers some discounts on the Nautilus, it might be worthwhile.
Yeah.
My biggest concern with the Nautilus, like, okay, whatever. Mediocre product is mediocre. This is fine, whatever. And most of it is software, and you can tune out software. I think the nuts and bolts that matter are there.
Agreed, yeah.
My concern is that this is the direction the whole brand wants to move in, and the new Navigator that was shown, I think, at Monterey Car Week a few weeks ago, is moving this direction, and that upsets me.
By that, you mean in that direction? Are you talking about like interior design aesthetic?
Yes.
See, that's the thing. I kind of like the big ass screen.
You're just fucking wrong, man. The Navigator was perfect as it was.
But I think it gives them, for one, that historical reference is allows them to do this in a way.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it is a differentiator.
Yeah.
It was already different. It was good. It was the best one.
Well, the Navigator specifically.
Yeah.
But like the rest of Lincoln's lineup was mostly forgettable.
I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I think they had, still have, a really special thing going in their whole interior design ethos. Mm-hmm. They're just lovely. They're really nice in a way that's hard to quantify. That's the problem. Yeah. So instead of continuing to quietly win at good design, they're just going to loudly win at numbers. And I hate that.
Yeah.
Line items on a spreadsheet, the fucking NBA strike again. I fucking hate it.
Fair.
Yeah, I get it, but I feel like this is, you can consider it gimmicky, but I don't think it's gimmicky enough that it'll go away. And I think they're gonna run with this, and I think it's not egregious enough to be a problem. That's the way I kind of see that.
I really, really hope you are right. I really hope that they fine tune out some of the issues that I take with it and say the Navigator, because I want to keep loving it.
Yeah. And I've yet to hear the Revel audio system in the Navigator.
Buddy.
I remember you telling me. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I want to hear next.
Wowzers.
Backtracking to the QX80 for a second.
The Klipsch audio.
The Klipsch audio system And that thing is fucking fantastic.
Oh, it's not Bose anymore.
No, it's not. No highs, no lows. Must be Bose. Well, it's not. 24 speakers. It with the right song. It's still giving me goosebumps.
Really?
Like it sounds that fucking good.
That's
anyway. Cool. Sidebar.
Right. Do you want to talk about Imran's cars? How are we doing for time?
We just talked about Imran's car. Oh, yeah, right.
Imran has several cars.
Yes, he has.
This is the Imran episode.
Right. Yeah, again.
Another Imran show. We're about halfway through.
Okay. Yeah. So we can maybe. Do you want to briefly touch on your Grand Cherokee or just?
Yeah, while we're still talking about this week's cars.
Okay.
Okay, so in addition to the Nautilus, we have the Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited this week. This is the 3-row version. It is whelming.
It is also there.
Yes, it exists. I feel like it is.
I think it's very handsome. I think in that segment of like small, like mid-big-ish, 2 or 3-ish row SUV things, I think it's very handsome.
I feel like the previous gen Grand Cherokee was like peak Grand Cherokee.
From a looks perspective?
From a looks perspective. Okay. And like this newest one, although it is conventionally handsome, it just doesn't look as purposeful as good as the previous
You're allowed to be
generation. Wrong. Yeah, fine. What the fuck out of it. So okay. So this is the.
It's a good thing you're handsome, honey.
Thank you. Okay.
I meant the Cherokee, the Grand Cherokee. See,
you're handsome
because it's
too,
very good looking.
But you also said okay, whatever. Okay.
It's very good. I think it's very good looking. I think that is its strongest asset.
Yes, especially considering the powertrain isn't particularly noteworthy in this thing. Would you believe that it's still using the Pentastar V6?
I was gonna say, you know how we mentioned that curved screen on Lincoln is a historical.
I see where this is going.
The powertrain
God.
in the Grand Cherokee feels like a historical reference.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You know what? I thought it was a fun little splash of nostalgia. I was telling you this. It reminded me of one of my first press cars, a Chrysler Pacifica Touring all-wheel drive. I felt it sounded and drove almost exactly the same. And I really liked that thing.
You know what?
So it was a nice little throwback.
The ZF8 is actually really good in this thing.
No, really? I found it was like a weak point. I found it was.
You don't insult God's own transmission.
It can be calibrated wrong.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think.
Or there's just not enough engine.
I don't think there's enough engine. I don't think the transmission's the problem here. I think it's the engine that's the problem here. And it sucks because like they keep showing the Hurricane V6,
right.
which like
straight six.
Thank you. But like, where is it? Why is this? Why does this thing still like, dude? Fully loaded, these things are like touching $100,000. Why does it still have like a normally aspirated V6 that barely puts out 300 horsepower?
You're saying fully decked out,
fully decked, Summit Reserve,
exact same powertrain.
You can't get the V8 motor anymore.
No.
This is right now.
The Hemi's gone. Wow. It's either the plug-in hybrid, which is which is
worse,
absolutely, or this archaic Pentastar V6.
So essentially, they're just like holding a spot for the Hurricane.
But why are you still holding it? You should have shut down the V8. Okay, bad idea, but if you're going to do it, fine. And get the other cool motor in there fucking yesterday.
It's been 2 years since they've announced that it's getting the Hurricane.
Yeah, that's
God damn.
That's rough.
Stellantis is like really dropping the ball lately with like so many of these product planning decisions that I'm seeing are just like nonsensical. And it's not just me thinking this. Like I see this like a headline at least once a week. Some clickbaity dickface auto journalist writes like, dealers are flashing out Stellantis for completely fucking them over, for having nothing compelling.
Various plays on that phrasing, but yes, that's the general consensus here.
I mean, I remember when we looked up like Dodge the other day, and there was like I think 1 or 2 2024 models available.
Yeah.
I finally saw a Hornet in the wild this week.
You?
Yeah.
I saw one too.
Finally.
Okay.
Wait, was yours blue?
It was white.
Oh, okay, so there are 2 of them.
Yeah. There's at least 2 of them. Anyway.
That's
yeah, like I wanted to like this thing. I feel like I kind of like the simplicity of the Grand Cherokee.
I will say it drives well.
Yeah.
Like it handles well, it rides well, the steering feels good, brakes feel good. Like it has the
basics
down pat. I was gonna say the core tenets, but an engine is the corest tenet.
Yes. Yeah. Doesn't really. Yeah.
And like it's fine. If it were a base model, I would say this is fine.
And to the Grand Cherokee's to the Grand Cherokee's credit, it is base-ish. This is the limited trim, so it's just over 70 grand as tested.
Okay, I have several issues with this. Number one, if this is base-ish,
yeah,
and it's called a limited.
Yes.
What is the top one called?
Top one is
unlimited?
Summit Reserve.
that would attract.
I feel like Stellantis should hire me. I have some ideas. I could revamp that whole ass portfolio.
Most of them involve V8 motors, so
we're going to need that V8 motor?
Absolutely.
And more Hurricanes? They already built the damn thing, and by all accounts, it's a good motor. So keep the Hurricane going, but also give us the V8 motor. And everything, limited's top.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, there's times where you want to be different, and there's times where it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But the summit is the
Nobody
highest
understands
point.
that.
It's the highest point
Like
of the lineup.
I get Summit. Like that's what Denali is. Right? Denali is a big mountain. That's what Denali is.
But they built that brand.
They did build that brand, and Jeep's just, I guess, trying
They're
to
just like
sorta...
they're doing the DC Comics thing where they the origin backstory is not necessary.
Yeah. And then like Summit Reserve. So I guess no, Denali Ultimate. Okay, I'll give that. I'll give it a pass. But still, like,
yeah. See,
what do you call
Fuck
it then?
you.
Like limited mid.
I guess I don't fucking know.
I would love if a car just had like super straight up names. Basic, mid, pretty good, decked.
Yeah. The Grand Cherokee average model.
Yeah.
The Grand Cherokee decked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like how simple this thing is. The interior is nice, nice-ish.
Did you notice the hard touch plastics
I'm
across
not-
the dashboard?
I'm
that,
not
that look like leather.
going to
It's stitched
bring
like
it
leather, but it's
up.
actually a hard touch plastic.
I'm not bringing
I
that
found
up
that
because
egregious.
you're a bitch.
And the wood trim too. It's like as hollow as can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The goddamn no, I'm not going to talk about the material. I'm not talking about the materials. I
Okay,
will
but
say
actually
this,
though,
they
so
are
like
kind of whelming.
those are things, and also the turn signal stalks, which you interface with a lot, don't feel like a $75,000 vehicle.
Well, now who's bitching about trivial things?
Well, because I don't molest lower door cards.
We
I touch the things that you touch.
Well, I think we need to post up a video on our new YouTube channel.
Go check it out, guys, at Double Clutch Magazine.
Of how Nick examines
Yeah.
lower door pedals.
That's a
We
good
should
idea.
do like
I'm
both
seeing
of
that
us,
for
like Nick
real.
versus Nathan reviewing cars.
We'll just sort of put some central music on and as Nick
I first see
Yeah,
some.
just molest the car,
Yeah.
just get it and go away, and don't put it in sport, come back. I think it's fine. I
what's
don't
that
know.
saxophone song that was always plays for like, is
Careless Whispers?
that what it is?
Yeah, I used it in a reel before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I first see some John Davis Motor Week stuff going on here. Okay. Anyway, shut up.
It's fine.
It's fine.
The problem is that it's
Overpriced.
priced wrong.
It is priced wrong. It is the problem with this with the Grand Cherokee is that the Grand Highlander and the CX90 are both really fucking good.
Yeah.
And pack appreciably efficient powertrains for the money.
Cheaper.
And cheap.
And
Both
they
of
are
them
cheaper.
Like,
The
saving
Grand,
a couple grand.
the Grand Highlander fully decked. Isn't that like
I think it was like
70?
69.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And the CX90
Nice.
signature also decked.
Oh yeah.
was
But it's like
even
67.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Like that. This is a fucking buddy big problem. But the Imran and I were talking about this. Like the Jeep name carries a lot of weight.
It does. It does. Like the
I
Nautilus.
struggle to understand why, but it carries a lot of weight.
It's a Jeep thing. You won't understand.
Yeah, but it's not a Wrangler. I get the
But
Wrangler.
it's a Jeep thing.
It is a Jeep thing, and I don't understand.
It even has that little Jeep decal on the window.
It does. I did see that,
know?
so that people will think you're very interesting.
That's right. And you're off-roady.
That's right. It is very handsome. Wow, so handsome. Bless your heart.
Did you see the
You are
Murica
such
flags?
a pretty boy.
Did you see the Murica flags on the
Oh no, I didn't see
on
that.
the doors too?
No,
Oh, they're there.
I missed that.
I wanted to like it. This was supposed to be my press car. I wanted to like it. I was looking forward to having just a normal, comfy, whatever car with a roof.
I mean, if I'll fucking take your ND for the rest of the week.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
what I
the
thought.
thing is like a product can be good or can redeem itself with its price point, and this
Went the other way.
went the other way. That's really what it comes down to. Like if this was priced below those two competitors,
Yeah.
by a
Even
few
in line with
thousand,
them, and keeping in mind that Jeep name carries some weight with it. Oh, okay, all right, fine. I can see that.
Yeah.
It might not be my pick, but I can see that, right? And
'cause- yeah.
I don't see it here.
Because like, what does it do better than a Grand Highlander? Because I would. Does
It's
the Grand
very
Highlander
handsome.
have more space too?
Quite a bit.
Yeah, right.
Like, quite a bit.
So it's not even more spacious. It has less power. It's less efficient. I'd say the interior quality materials are
It's-
not as good.
Imran, it's very handsome.
But
This is
she's
an exceptionally
pretty.
good-looking SUV.
I don't know.
Wow.
I'm a fan of the Grand Highlander.
Oh, the Grand Highlander is very good looking. The
But it's not
Grand
handsome.
Cherokee,
That's true.
man, that's handsome.
That's true. And it doesn't have, and it has that Jeep logo, that sticker.
Yeah.
Little car.
So
And
there
the
you
Murica
go.
badges.
Merca.
But yeah, it's just not the best way to spend 70 grand in the three-row SUV
And
segment.
look, the thing is that I think once they get that motor in there, the conversation changes.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Nathan, like everything else about it is actually pretty good. Hey,
Yeah.
I didn't get any motion sickness in the back of that thing. when
Yeah,
you were
like it
driving
rides
like,
great. It drives really well. Like, and it's so handsome, and there's a lot of room, and it's
Why don't
practical.
you marry it already?
It's like it's really good looking, but like that matters. Style matters a lot
Yeah.
in a car, and it drives well. It's got like some really fundamental things that matter to me down pat, and I just wish it had a motor to carry them around.
Yes.
And I feel like you throw the Hurricane in there, charge more for it. Even like throw the Hurricane in there and charge 80, 85, say. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe go to some nicer switches, thicker leather. I don't know, something to dress it up maybe a tiny bit more. Yeah. I can see that working. I can see that being a compelling package at that point.
Would you say that it would take it to the summit?
Oh, I'm going.
Okay, buddy. Then, all right. Well, now that Nathan's, all right, we got rid of Nathan finally. Joke's on you, doors. No. You have to do the footstep sound effects.
Yeah,
Like,
you've got the footsteps. Yeah.
okay.
We'll work on this.
Okay. This week's car's done. Last week, Imran, you spent some quality time with something much different, much quicker.
Yeah.
And you practically fell in love with that thing.
From
What I saw.
Oh yeah, I never asked. Is it good?
honestly, I'm gonna quiz you guys first because I'm sure you guys like me.
14 years.
Watch.
I didn't study.
But you watch all of the YouTube videos. And,
No.
No. Okay. Well. Okay, I gotta.
I actually deliberately try to make sure my opinion stays untainted, so I don't follow other people's work now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, guess the weight of a 911 Carrera 4S.
3,460 pounds.
Nick.
Price is
I
right
would-
rules, right? Close without going over?
Let's go.
$1, Bob. 4,200 pounds. They're heavy. They're heavy-ish boys.
4,200.
Yeah.
So the weight
that
that
was
comes
Bob
up
Barker
here.
saying, "Wow, it's 2,000 for the washer, right?"
the weight I found here online, it's a 992 911 Carrera 4S with manual, 3402. So so Nathan's pretty much bang on if you add the PDK, which is pretty nuts, man.
Winner. Gagnon.
I don't know how you did that.
I am
but
burdened with the knowledge of a great many things.
Guess the weight of the Mercedes-AMG GT63 coupe.
4,200 pounds.
3,460. It's probably like, no, I'm going to actually, yeah, I'll stick with that.
What'd you say?
3,460.
4,300.
Oh! How the turntable.
I thought this was smaller. I thought they were going after the 911.
Okay.
So,
Actually,
yes.
okay. And building on that, how much was how heavy was the last gen AMG GT?
So that's a good question.
I think they were like 36.
They were pretty lightweight.
Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, they were in and around, I think, 38, because I remember reading that this was about 550 pounds heavier than the last
Jesus
one.
Christ on a
Holy
Canary.
fuck.
Is it bigger? Like, is it appreciably larger than the outgoing
So
car?
it is bigger.
Okay. I thought it
right.
looks smaller in photos.
Yeah.
No, but it is bigger. It's significantly more spacious.
Actually, can we pause for one quick second to address a point? So, like, we all kind of see all of the cars all of the time and have a rough idea of what everyone else is talking about before we get to it.
Yeah.
I'm coming into this stone the fuck ass cold. I have never seen one in the flesh ever. I have no idea. So talk to me like I'm a dipshit.
All right. So
More than usual.
So first off, I'd say, I mean, it looks pretty in photos.
Okay.
I think it looks gorgeous in person.
Okay.
I think they nailed the look. I thought the last generation was this. I'd see it at some angles, and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. And then other angles, I'd be like, it looks weird. I don't know if you guys felt the same way the last AMG GT.
No, that's a really good looking car.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's extremely pretty.
I didn't like it, but it's very good looking.
I
She's
liked
so
it.
pretty.
I like that.
But yeah, I just found it was a little somewhat odd proportioned from some angles.
The convertibles were a little awkward for me. Love the coupe.
Yeah.
All around.
For this one, I feel like honestly, is damn near perfect. It's probably my Porsche bias that is coming in because it looks very much like a 911 body with a Mercedes front and rear end.
It's like a GTA car, basically.
Yeah, like it very, very much so. But you know, they did the big grille right. Like it has this like it has road presence.
Yeah.
It looks good. The wheels look great. Those carbon ceramic brakes behind them look fantastic. Like it looks the business.
Looks better than the convertible.
Yeah. And
is it a lot larger than the outgoing car?
It's actually, it doesn't look like it, but it's longer.
Okay.
Interesting.
But it's the long hood, right?
That sort of plays tricks on you there.
Yeah. But yeah, I find it looks fantastic. The weight thing is something that I ran across from a lot of other reviewers and people who had experienced it.
So you're saying other people do influence. I'm just kidding. I was just messing with you.
Is it all-wheel drive?
But it is all-wheel drive.
Okay, there's some pounds.
But the thing is, and this is the point of comparison, right? Mm-hmm. Where they're trying to go after the 911.
Yeah.
And the equivalent 911 is 3,400 pounds versus damn well 1,000 pounds more, right? Which is like, and it's like, where is that coming from? That's a lot. But
it's that Mercedes bank vault bill quality, baby.
But we'll get to that.
Oh man!
But
barely.
This is a negative show.
Hot takes incoming.
I'm prefacing that I really enjoyed this car. I will say, it masks its weight very well. So, on paper. You're like, oh, this is going to be brutal. It's going to be terrible. It's going to feel heavy. The brakes are fantastic. The power, it's like 577 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque.
Still the V8, right?
Yeah, it's still that hot V, right?
Okay.
Like it's like there's like virtually no turbo lag whatsoever.
Yeah, that's a very good engine.
How's the ride quality on this thing? Because like a lot of new AMGs ride like not great. And
they're sporty. They're tuned for the Nürburgring.
So that's the thing, right?
Including the last AMG GT that also didn't ride great.
And that's where the weight manifests itself, right? So the weight penalty comes in two places, not in its straight line speed, not even in its handling. But in order to carry that weight, you have to have stiffer springs and
it's just like an exponential effect. Stiffer bushings, stiffer springs,
right?
stiffer bars. It's like more reinforcement to hold it all together, and then you circle back around. Now you need bigger springs to carry that shit around.
Exactly, right? And so you do end up with a pretty harsh ride, even in comfort.
Right.
What wheels was it on? 21s?
Yeah, and they're 285s up front, like 305s in the back. Yeah.
285s in the front?
Yeah.
Holy
and like
fuck, that's got grip.
You could feel them. Like,
was gonna say that's a lot of unsprung weight. Jesus Christ on a cracker.
So and the thing is, because those wheels are so big and those tires are so wide, like you went over a big bump, like it would like reverberate through the cabin. Like you felt like the shock go through the wheel before it went to the cabin.
Secondary vibrations problem.
Yeah, and
okay.
So that not great.
How's this? So then, sorry, quick tangent then. Big wheels, big tires are pretty bad for just like touchy-feely things.
Yeah.
How's the steering on this thing?
So I mean, it doesn't like it tracks straight just fine. It's not like following grooves in the road or anything like that.
Yeah.
It does have rear wheel steer.
That's surprising.
Axle steer.
It's surprising considering, like, on other big tire cars like the fucking Challenger Hellcat wide body, that thing had meaty boys all around, and it really wanted to tramline on.
Well, because it was never designed to have that kind of rolling stock on it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That's fair.
But this thing,
fair point.
Yeah, this thing was fine, but I don't know how to explain it. You just felt though, even though the steering didn't have like a ton of feel to it, you just knew that there's
just a lot of meat there.
In the front, like you just I wish I could put it into words, but
that's literally your fucking job.
Right? But
God, where do we find these people?
Bunch of nobodies.
But yeah, so back to that weight. So suspension,
Yeah.
like that's penalty number 1.
Yeah.
And then the penalty number 2 is 18.4 liters per 100 kilometers.
Oh,
Bitch, what?
fuck. The QX80's more efficient, and that thing's fucking monstrous.
I mean, I will say that I enjoyed it. So,
yes, that.
take that as you may.
Yeah, okay.
But
The DB12 I had was more efficient.
I know.
The DBX707 was more efficient with the same engine.
Yeah. So I was like...
Actually, no, the engine put out 100 extra horsepower.
Yeah, and so, it probably weighs the same, though.
The DBX, not the DB12.
Right? And so that was one thing as I was like putting my notes in.
Actually, wait, no. You're right. They're both large. Anyway, proceed.
Putting my notes in for the upcoming review, and I look at the thing and I'm like 18.4. That's among.
Hang on. Did you deserve it? Like, could it have done maybe a lot better?
So the thing is, like, if I drove still spiritedly, but like a little calmer, I think like at best I get like, it's not like I drove it like I was like banging off the red line the whole time. Like, like I think maybe I would have gone down to like 16 something.
Okay. Yeah.
Still kind of crazy.
It's those motors are set up to be like super eager, so it takes, because the thing is, like, once you're on boost, you're using a ton of fuel, not only to make power but to cool the injection process, because a rich burn is cooler. So if you're on boost, you're using a ton of gas.
Yeah.
And these things are set up to get on boost really fast.
Yeah. And I was on boost quite a bit.
As you would.
Yeah, but, that's it goes back to the Ford EcoBoost, right? Like, everyone said, I don't know, I'm getting like 22 liters per 100 in this thing. I'm getting 12. Like, it's because you have a lead foot. That's totally what it is. Yeah.
It's gotten to 100 kilometers an hour. I didn't test this, but like apparently you can do it under 3 seconds.
Apparently.
And it's believable.
Yes.
The all-wheel drive, I am of the belief that for a road car, it's fantastic because I don't have the money to replace rear tires doing donuts.
Yep.
So I tend to not do donuts in the cars that I own, or press cars.
Let's just put that out there.
But the all-wheel drive makes you feel like completely unflappable, right? Like, even though it has that insane amount of power, it just hooks up. It just goes. And I did try some tomfoolery and crank the wheel and just mash the gas and see what happens.
Just planted.
It just goes.
The meaty.
Those tires.
There's
so much fucking mechanical grip there. It's hard not to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. And so I thought it was like I think it's fantastic for what it is. Price is a little bit of an issue.
So that was my next question.
Oh dear.
Does the interior quality befit the price tag?
So we're getting canceled.
So Again, I liked this.
I will
so
preface-
Mercedes,
yes.
be nice to us.
I will preface this by saying the convertible version that I stole from Ben last year for the weekend was...
That wasn't a GT. That was an SL.
The SL. But you can argue they're
same genealogy.
I don't even know if there's going to be a coupe version of a
Don't let
GT
AMG hear
anymore.
that, but go on.
Yeah.
It was whelming for the money.
So,
And again, that's a similar
interior, you mean?
plain interior quality.
Oh, I forgot. That was a $250,000 car, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing was like $210,000.
Oh, it's cheaper than an SL.
Yeah, it starts at $197.
Oh, it's not bad. It's a value proposition. Okay.
Oh, cool. Great.
And the thing is, I will say the interior looks beautiful.
Okay.
The carbon looks great. I love the.
Yeah.
It's unapologetically red interior.
Okay.
Like it's not maroon. Like
It looked good in like some of the videos you were doing.
I think everything looks pretty good. The problem is for a $200,000+ car, some of the door panels flex. You know how Mercedes has that floating thing for the seat adjusters and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like you press it and you see it kind of flex a little bit. And then I remember like resting my elbow on the center console and the carbon creaked.
Oh, that's lightweighting.
And
Because race car.
and it was just like, and I'll get into, if we have time, the i5 that I had. But,
I don't think we'll have time for the i5 for the record.
Well, I will say, with that thing, it felt like it was built like a tank.
Yeah, you don't get that.
Like nothing creaked, nothing at all, and significantly cheaper. Obviously, a different car. But with this Mercedes, is like, when you cross over $200,000, you better make sure you're using the brand name glue, not the Dollarama stuff, right?
Yeah.
And
Get the Elmers.
Yeah, right. and sadly, it just doesn't feel that way. And that's probably my biggest complaint of the thing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not someone with $200,000 to spend on a car.
But that tracks because that lines up with, Ben's and your comments with the SL last year. That thing was even more expensive, and
the thing
is
is, like,
the same dashboard as a C-Class. It's a $70,000 car.
Yeah,
and I'd say it's more theatrical than a C-Class in terms of the interior.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you go to a 911, because obviously they clearly want to compete with a 911,
Yeah.
911 interiors are significantly more simplistic.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
And it's a vault.
Exactly, right? It's built well.
Yeah.
You're never questioning, like, I paid this much for this car. With the
Yeah.
Benz, from the outside, you're not questioning that at all because it has that level of presence. When you get in and you hear that first creak or whatnot, you're just like, you grit your teeth a little bit, which is unfortunate because outside of that, the car is like it's holy shit good. Like, it's really good. Even there is some fake engine sounds as part of, even though
that motor sounds so fucking good on its own.
So that's the thing. And you know how I figured it out? Because I was like, as I'm driving, I'm like, I suspected it, but it was pretty well integrated overall.
Yeah.
But it was like very loud, so I'm like, there must be something inside.
Yeah.
What happened is I flipped between modes as I was accelerating, and the speakers glitched.
Oh,
And it went.
That's not what you want for a Cherokee car.
And so the speakers, it's like the fake engine sounds came through AM radio style for momentarily. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's fake engine sounds.
Oh my god.
So that's how I confirmed that there's fake engine noise. It only happened once, I will say that, one time. But outside of that, like, the experience is very theatrical. And someone's like, a lot of people were asking me, like, would you take this over a 911? Would you take this over a 911? And I'm like, no, but I could see why someone would.
Yeah.
For the theatrics of it, for the straight line speed, for the sound, for the more glitz and glamoury interior.
Yeah, versus the 911, it's
clinical.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Would you take it over an M8?
So, oh man, that's a very tough question.
I know. That's
Give
why
me
I
the
asked.
M8.
It's a fucking big problem for that car.
Give me
What
the
is the M8 price at?
Yours was 180, I think.
180.
Oh, that's tough. See,
Yeah.
if they were dead even price wise,
Well, you got an M8 competition. That thing was like brutal fast.
Yeah.
I had an M850. It was 135.
I would save
Yeah,
myself.
I remember,
Yeah.
and I remember we said that M850 is like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
I'd walk past all those and still get the M850.
Ooh, that's hard. See, that makes it a very hard value prop
Yeah.
for the Benz.
Does the Benz have back seats?
This one had the rear seat delete, but it is available.
Okay, it is available. Does it have like a good sized trunk? Like, is
The
it
trunk is huge.
trunk is huge? So you actually could daily this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the trunk's massive. Yeah, that was. That was one of the surprising things about it. But yeah, now I can't stop thinking about this the 8.
Quite the conundrum.
Because I kept thinking 911. To be quite honest, I was very narrow-minded in terms of 911. Just the way the Benz looks, honestly, keeps reminding you of 911.
Yeah.
It is a hard argument to make against an M850.
Let's say M8 comp to keep it more level.
definitely.
M8 comp,
Yeah.
I'd still take it. I'd still take the M8 comp over.
So the M8
over
comp
it.
is around 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's why like this thing. If this thing was priced like 170, 180, it's like 100%. I get it.
Oh yeah.
At 210ish as spec, mind you, it had like the carbon package, whatever. But 197 is starting.
Yeah.
Right?
Still.
Yeah, that's tough. Right?
I think I'll say this is going to be weird out of me. In Mercedes' defense, they are going after the 911 Turbo specifically,
Yeah.
right? Being that it's all-wheel drive and has 850 billion horsepower and looks kind of 911-y.
Yeah.
That car starts at, I looked this up last week, 2 weeks ago,
Expensive.
after we were talking about the DB12.
Yeah.
That car starts at 291 in Canada.
Wild.
Starts at 291 in Canada.
So I guess it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing, and I will say against the 8 Series, as nice as the 8 Series looks, and I think it does look good,
It's the
the GT63 blows it away in terms of presence.
Yes.
I think when you see
Yes.
the GT63 looks almost exotic,
right.
in my opinion.
It's got like the big wow to it.
Yeah. Which I feel like the M8 doesn't. It looks like a really nice BMW.
Yeah.
And it's also like, not that I mind, but it is a relatively dated product now. Still a good one, but like the other two are super fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what the GT55 price is at. Maybe that's a sweet spot for.
Is the 55, is that, I don't know if you look this up, is that the 3-liter straight 6 or the 4-popper?
I don't know. I hope it's not a 3-liter 6. In the 55?
Well, yeah, because I thought for most of Mercedes lineups lately, 63 is the V8, 53 is the straight 6, and 43 is the 4-popper in most of their cars.
I am so curious.
So
now,
when I hear 55, I'm making the assumption that it is the straight 6, and I fucking hope I'm right. Because I think you can get a GT43 if my memory serves.
So here it looks like it says it's just a detuned
V8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still the 4-liter.
Okay.
turbo
I could see
V8.
that working. Okay, so like take the edge off and take what, 30 grand off?
469 horsepower still, 516 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, they're both.
More than enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing is priced at 155.
So more in line. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense there. I can't imagine that amount of power is lacking.
Yeah.
It's probably just fine. You still get those looks. You still get that exoticness.
Yeah. You get more power in the BMW.
Yeah, but I feel like, and I hate to, I'm not even saying this as a...
No, but style's a big thing, right? We were talking about that earlier. Like it matters so much in a car. And that GT, from the photos I saw, because I've not seen this thing, it's a fucking good looking car.
That's the thing. I just feel like you roll up anywhere in this thing.
It looks expensive.
And you belong.
Yeah.
Like, it's the country club car.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. That just happens to be good as well. But yeah, I think the GT55 probably makes a lot more sense. I can't imagine the $55,000 difference for 100 extra horsepower is.
I mean, 0 to 60, and I just saw it I just saw the specs. 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds for the 55 versus 3.2
Pathetic.
for the
the
63.
But
I need it in
what are you
3.2.
What will you do with those extra 7/10 of a second in your life.
Your mum.
Wow. Okay.
I could not.
I don't know. That's some weird self burn at the same time.
Oh yeah, I thought about that.
Hey,
I went with it.
she's a nice lady. God damn it. You know what? I'm killing. We're done. We're done. We're done here. We're done for today. No, that actually does take us to the end of this episode.
I'm sorry, Nick's mom, and I'm sorry to my mom who had to hear that.
Wow. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Nathan, Imran, thank you for joining in studio this week and stopping by. It has been a slice talking about our automotive misadventures over the past couple of weeks. For those listening, if you wish to keep tabs on said automotive misadventures, you can do so at doubleclutch.ca on socials.
Including YouTube.
That's right. Check us out at Double Clutch Magazine on YouTube.
Hell yeah. Give us a like and a follow and all that.
Don't forget
cool
to smash that bell and hit the subscribe button, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
And last but not least, thanks for listening, Nathan's mom.
I'm so sorry.